27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And there isn't one of us that doesn't want to be someplace else. This is what we do. Who we are.
Survive a war. You gotta become war.
And good afternoon, good morning to all you on the Western time zones, the other three. Welcome to an unexpected episode of Rambo and Frens. And I will say, I must have the greatest friends on the planet because I did not expect to be here this week, as you guys know, and we will get into just a little bit here in the near future. But of course, I called all of the regulars like, hey, I now have the week off. Who wants to come on and hang out with me? You know who signed up first and foremost? JF Non-Smart Paul. They'll be here Friday. You know who signed up second? Sarge and Feisty Cat came right on today. And you know who's going to be here tomorrow? Brian Cates is going to come on with me tomorrow, and we're going to break down his whole brand new Substack. So I don't know who is more blessed on the planet. We're going to get into a little bit of the trials and tribulations that I had the last 2 days and why we didn't have shows, and a little bit of the court hearings and the Flynn event, as it didn't quite go as I told everybody it would. And I think it'll be fun to get into. So you guys know them. I love them. I hope you love them too. Let's talk to my friends.
To talk to my friends. These are my friends.
I'll get rid of Trump. What's up, Feisty?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you. It's not where I thought I'd be.
It's always fun. I always enjoy being on here.
Yeah.
We have a blast.
Let's say hi to Sarge real quick. What's up, Sarge?
What's up, brother? Yeah, your connection is pretty horrible today for some reason.
Is it? I turned it down because I thought it'd be. Am I sounding bad to you, Feisty?
Yeah, you've been spooling.
Yeah.
You're blurry and you're spooling.
And you're blurry.
I'm blurry.
I don't know what to do.
I don't look blurry.
You must be on that. You must be on that dial up again.
Hold on.
Yeah, you know him.
Wi-Fi's off.
That's right. I lost your window.
I'm not really sure. Can you guys all in the chat hear me at least? Because I can do this. I can make myself like Sarge.
I can hear you.
I can hear you fine. I just can't see you well.
I sound okay. Everyone is frozen, Sherry said.
Yep. Feisty's frozen now too.
You need to close out and start again?
I don't think so. I don't really want to do that. I just did it once. That kind of stinks. There's nobody in the house. It must just be a local internet issue. Let me just do this. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to leave it like this, and we're going to go with it. Hopefully, Feisty's up.
Feisty's frozen too.
I know. I see that. Well, it doesn't matter if you or I are frozen right now. Feisty, do you have an avatar?
I do, but I think what I'm going to do is close out and come back in because I can't figure out how to fix it.
Okay, do that. And me and Sarge will say hello to everybody while you do that. And if we have to run today, just strictly on audio, and hopefully the visuals work. But
well, my problem is I lost the window. Yeah, you know how life goes, right?
Yeah, it's white girl problems. I mean, privileged digger. It's okay. We still got tons of people piling in here. Go ahead, see if you can find the link.
I gotta find the window to close out so that I can turn around and reload. All I have to do is find the window. So
sorry.
I'll do it the easy way. I'm just closing out all my windows.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. The reason I bounced out and came back was because we were already dealing with that pre-show. So
Really?
yeah, that's why I didn't show up till there at the very end. But
someone doesn't want us meeting up, apparently.
No. Doesn't let it go. Boom! I'm gonna let it go. You know what? I want to talk about a few things. So here's Feisty and I were hanging out a little bit longer than you, Sarge, pre-show, and if I didn't shut us down, all of us could have kept going right until like 3 o'clock and never hit start and done this for everybody. So that's why I did it. But I want to give everybody that cares, because most of you know about my trials and tribulations with my son in court. I want to give just a brief update. So I went to court just like planned on Monday morning. I put she looks like she's working now. You there, Feisty?
I'm back.
Okay. You look clear. I'm going to try me. Let's see if I work. Am I good?
You're always good, but no, right now you're black. Oh, you're blurry.
You're blurry, that's all.
I'm getting rid of me then. All right.
Wait a minute. That means I got to get rid of me.
You don't have to.
You can just like a sore thumb.
You can sit there and look beautiful.
Oh, no. I'll leave that to the defender.
That's funny. All right. So here's what happened with court for everybody. I put out there on Monday morning, legitimately, when I was getting in the car and driving to Philadelphia, to Delaware County, to the court date, that I was doing so. And I asked, oh, there you go. I kind of like this. So I got in the car and I drove what turned into 3 hours because of traffic. And I was a little bit late and I was really stressed out. And if I had any hair to pull out, I would have done it. But I don't. And I got there, and the grandmother of victim number 1 was there already. So she was giving me updates to let me know what was going on. And when I got there, we ended up sitting in the courtroom for a few hours, to be honest. And I saw the defendants sitting across the aisle. And we sat there, and something just didn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense to me now, to be honest. We were in one of those cattle chute courtrooms. I mean, they were bringing people out in orange and shackles one at a time to see the judge. And there was 100 people in the seating, and they were all going up one at a time. So the lady at the door, like, what's up? I thought we were here for a trial. I gave them the names and the case, and they told me that they're number 42. And so something, yet again, still, it just didn't make sense. And for some reason, I don't know why, because this is the third time, when they finally got up and got in front of the judge, who is the judge for the jury trial, he pushed it off again. So new court date for the beginning of the trial is July 29th. I laughed out loud in the courtroom, to be honest with you, because that's maybe I should give just a little bit more personal information. There's been a few phone calls to my son from cousins and stuff, and in my opinion, those phone calls have been a little bit manipulative. Like when he gets comments like, "We miss you. Don't you wish you could see us? Aren't you upset you're not allowed to see us?" Things like that. And I get very defensive because that's not the case from my side. I've actually reached out to the other parties, obviously not the defendants, but the rest of them, being my brothers and sisters and cousins. I've tried to allow him to see them. So when I get those phone calls, which we got another one last night, I get very defensive. Like, that's just not the case. Tell them they're welcome to come here anytime they want to. But I laughed out loud because in one of those phone calls, my son was told that you'll be back here by summertime. Don't worry. You're going to be allowed to see us again soon. And so I got very, very upset and frustrated about that. Obviously, I don't think I think it goes without saying. I don't really have to explain that. So that was why I laughed out loud in court, because July 29th, if that is the beginning of their now criminal trial is scheduled, according to what I heard on Monday, 3 to 10 days, then that puts it into August. Well, my son starts school the second week of August. So the silver lining is that that is only the criminal trial. The emergency custody would have to come after that. So it would have to also be a can kicked down the road. And if that's the case, then it won't land for another month or two after that. So my son's going to be starting his second year of school. I don't foresee, without some sort of, insane circumstance like relapse, which it's been well over a decade, it's not going to happen. My son's not going back. So it sucked to waste my whole day and have the can kicked down the road again, and to put it out there and ask so many people to have my back and support me and pray. But there is a silver lining. He starts his second year of school. There's just about no reasonable excuse on the planet that they would take him out of here and put him back over there. So in that, I find solace. I'm cool with that. And I'll keep everybody updated further down the road. Are you guys still there? I'm sorry to hijack.
Oh yeah, we're still here.
Listening intently.
Yeah,
definitely appreciate that update. It's yeah, there is a silver lining there, right? They won't be able to disrupt his school year and rip him away anytime soon. So good on you for going through this fight for him.
well, it's like think mirror, right, Sarge? So the 10 years that I wasn't able to get him, one of the main reasons was because I lived 2.5 hours away, and Delaware County was never going to be willing to let go of jurisdiction. They were never going to take him out of his school or his sports teams or any of this, right? So God stepped in and exposed what was happening. And now look if you're on the other side, they're getting a dose of the same thing they did to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And it's amazing to watch the emotional manipulation take place too. Where you mentioned that you've got his family members contacting him saying, "Oh, don't you miss us and want to see us?" And that's they're toying with his emotions right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. And what do I do? Feisty, this would be a good question for you. What the hell do you do when you're stuck in a situation as crappy as this, and there is cousins and friends and aunts and uncles? There's tons of people that aren't the defendant, and they do play a part in this whole thing. I'm sure they show up against us because mom has ultimate power over the rest of her kids. I've always bucked the system. So, but like, what do you do when the cousin, you can't say you're not allowed to talk to them. You can't say I'm keeping you from them. So you just try to be as transparent and honest as possible and say you're allowed to. They can come here. They're welcome. And then they lie and say that I'm the one that's keeping him from them.
But you keep everything on the record, right?
Yeah. Oh, no question.
Okay.
No question.
That's all you need. Keep
and
as long as you're open with your son, because that's the most important. He is being manipulated. Help him understand what that means. I would keep public comments limited because they are listening to everything you say, hoping to find something that they can use against you. It seems to me what they're doing is running out somebody's money. I don't know if it's yours or hers, to where there's little defense left, whether for you or for her. So you just play it cool. You got God on your side. You do. Everything has happened for a reason. And as far as your son goes, you can absolutely prove he's never been happier. So leave it at that. Don't play into their hands, that's for sure. And yes, I agree with you. They are allowed to come visit on your terms at your house. You
Agree.
don't take him anywhere.
Yeah, that whole say very little publicly thing is kind of out the window.
Yeah, well, I know, but just there's things you keep up your sleeve and just leave it there. Don't.
I agree. I agree. But here's why. I'll tell you why, Feisty, because since you brought that up. The reason that I'm so transparent about this with the movement, and I don't really care if they hear me, is that I asked the movement for help. And
No, totally agree with you on that. Asking for prayers, asking for support, that's great. But be very careful with what you do say publicly, because if things can be taken and twisted, they will be. And you just stay transparent. That's what you've been doing, but just be careful with what you say.
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't tell them to flatten my tires or anything like that.
Staying in the light
Yeah.
is the thing.
Yeah, it comes down to need to know, right? You know, people don't have a need to know the details. You know, it's good that we know that that you're going through a struggle, and you've asked for support, and we're here to support you. And in terms of your approach, I mean, you've approached everything with love. So I continue doing that and remain consistent, and just be there for your son, So if he wants to talk to his family members, great, let him. And unless it becomes a toxic environment, then you've got to step in. But
yeah, unfortunately, in this situation, kids hear everything, right?
Yep.
So whether the kids realize that they're repeating manipulation and I don't even know how to describe it. I think you know what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
When the kids turn around and they say, how do you feel about not being allowed to see us? I don't think the kids are being malicious.
right.
They're hearing things.
They've been led to say that.
Yeah.
They heard a conversation. That's all it takes.
That's not true.
But if your son comes back to you with questions, just be the person that dispels the rumors with facts. Keep your evidence in order, so that if he does have questions, you can say, hey, look, this is what was said. Get him to see what the truth is.
Hey, Sarge, this is out of nowhere, but I think it'll help the audience. It's not just me, probably, because so we went to a doctor appointment today, right? So I'm doing a whole lot of things with my son that I didn't get to do for the last decade. And a doctor's appointment is one of them. And so vaccines are now something that I have my hands on, like I can influence, like I have choice over.
Yes.
And some of which are mandatory for schooling. I already am uncomfortable that they're pulling out 3 things to put in his arm, right? But I was given the option on one. So I want to ask you, I think maybe the audience will appreciate this, but what do I do about an optional vaccine? Like right now, the one that I'm being presented with is HPV. Do you have any experience on this one?
Don't.
Good.
I would decline it. I did that with my stepson too. When they tried to give it to him, I asked, does he need it? They said, well, he should have it because it's considered an STD, and I think my stepson was 14 at the time, and I said, well, he's not going to be doing that anytime soon, and so I made the decision to let him make that choice when he's an adult, and he's an adult now. He's decided not to get it, so good on him. But I am definitely scared about like vaccine side effects, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't know that they put in the vaccines. And so if you do have the opportunity to decline a vaccine, I would do the research and understand why you want to decline it in the first place.
Go ahead, Feisty, before I answer.
Everybody I know that did get it ended up with HPV, whether sexually active or not. That's a scary thought.
Yep.
It kind of makes
You
a
know,
whole lot of sense with the things that I've looked at. Go ahead, Sarge.
I've seen that with my mother-in-law. She's been, her doctor convinced her to get the shingles vaccine. I think a few years ago, and now every single year she gets the shingles, and she goes through all this unbearable pain. And but she's convinced that if she didn't get the vaccine, that the shingles would be much worse.
What's worse than the unbearable pain from the shingles?
I don't know. No idea.
Okay, well, luckily, what I did on anything optional, I said, I want to talk to Kim first, right? So that was an easy out, and she talked a bit about the COVID vaccine, as my son is the only one in this house. There's 7 of us in this house, and he's the only one, and he got 2 doses of that crap. And I told the doctor was very, I guarantee you, she understood my messaging when I said I was unhappy that he had those, and that will not be something you even present to me, right? So I made sure that was clear, and I made sure the ones that were optional were, I'd like to go talk about it at home before I make a decision like that. I was trying to be respectful, but what do you do about these ones that are mandatory? Like, he got hit with 3 today, and I was really uncomfortable and wish I knew if there was something I could do, because I don't know. They're just telling me they has to get them. They're telling me the school's going to bitch, and I don't really know anything.
So you'll have to see if your state allows for religious exemptions, and then possibly go down that path. That's probably the path of least resistance. And then they have medical exemptions too, where getting a vaccine would produce a bad side effect due to a pre-existing condition. So, but yeah, the schools are pretty strict on vaccine requirements, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's too late for religious exemption. I felt pressured. I was told he had to. The doctor's appointment's probably a little later than it should have been, right? He should probably be there every 6 months. We're now pushing 10 because of insurance issues that my C-word mother put us in. So I was just grateful to finally get an appointment, and then I just felt pressured, and I watched my son in tears. Like, that's really the crappiest part. I'm sure side effects would be crappier down the road, but it's really a horrible thing to watch your 13-year-old child scared. Yeah.
Yep, I completely agree. And as far as religious exemptions go, it's like I don't think it's too late to ever start requesting them. So the next time this comes up and they want to provide vaccinations to your son, and if you're uncomfortable with it, I would definitely already have the religious exemption lined up.
Yeah, I definitely need to do more research on it before the next time. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. And we got put in this position, and it's very fresh. It was only just a few hours ago.
Totally understand.
Well, the other thing I think that you guys could even be more helpful on is, I told everyone I was going to see General Flynn on Tuesday, the 15th. What are we on? Wednesday, the 16th?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for everyone that was here for the last show with with Sun Tzu presented some information that him and Cat the Great and just a few others were involved in unearthing. And if everybody hasn't seen the show, I highly suggest you go back and look at it. But the nuclear bomb that I think it was that we saw in Boone Cutler's tweets that he was signing his posts Q as far back as 2013.
Yep.
Well, Sarge, I don't know if you heard this part. I was telling Feisty before the show. I can't help myself sometimes. And so the day after that, only 3 days prior to going to see General Flynn and Boone Cutler and everybody that's on the tour, Junior and everybody else. I went on to a couple of those posts, and one of them I put the eyeballs emoji.
Yeah.
Like, so I was thinking like I was doing like this like undercover like harmless poke. Well, it turns out a lot of people have me on notifications.
Oh, geez. so it resurrected something, huh?
Yeah. So his eyeballs went viral.
Yeah. So honestly, the eyeballs got that post like 500 views in like 10 minutes. So I deleted my eyeballs.
Yep.
But before I realized that the eyeballs were getting so many views, I went on to another one that was even older. And I put on, "Can't wait to see you at the event." Man, I wish I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I wake up the next morning and I look at my emails on the way to work, and my ticket money for the Flynn event is being refunded.
Interesting.
What would you think?
They still had the event. They just canceled you.
That's what I thought. My paranoia hit all-time high. I'm like, I felt my soul leave my body.
I'm sure the entire event was canceled.
Yeah, it was, but it's still, how do you not take it personal after what you just did?
I know.
The level of coincidence in that was above one I was willing to accept. And I took it like I screwed up and I exposed something to people I look up to on a level of almost hero, right? I think General Flynn is like today's George Washington. I've heard it said. I believe it to be true. And so when I did something like that, I thought maybe, just maybe, I did something that was wrong. So when my tickets got refunded, I thought, oh my God, I just got blacklisted from the freaking General Flynn event. At 6 a.m, I start messaging everybody I know. General Flynn Jr., or sorry, Mike Flynn Jr., Mary Flynn. I messaged IET. I don't know if I messaged you guys, but I messaged everybody. Kat the Great, because Sun Tzu. I messaged everybody, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I screwed up. I think I messed up. I was like panicking, bro. I was panicking. Well, I came to find out that the whole event was canceled, and the whole world doesn't revolve around me. But but
72-hour rule.
Yeah, right. He didn't have 72 hours. He was panicked.
No.
It's really funny though, right? I was like, I thought I lost like 5 years off my life that morning. So
if you had hair, it would be steel gray. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct. but this is where I think you guys will come in. So I learned something in that event, other than the world doesn't revolve around me. That information is open sourced information.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were kind of taught to go find that stuff.
Yeah.
So it almost seems to me that it may have been left there on purpose.
Well, answer me this question. If it wasn't supposed to be found, why is it still up there?
Yep.
Very true.
Shame on us for not finding it first, but I mean, it seems to me there was a little bit of guidance towards that. And if so, hey, open source is for a reason. There's an awful lot of stuff coming out all of a sudden that we weren't allowed to talk about even a year ago. So take it as it is. It's okay to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's like a blessing, right? A blessing from on high.
It is, but you know what it did? Yeah. So I went from thinking, oh no, my eyeballs were too much, to thinking, I really need to dig on Boone.
Uh-huh.
180. Yep.
Jeff, right?
Sarge, you weren't here pre-show, but Feisty and I have already started going through. I have a pile of links.
I bet you guys do. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. I did some digging on Boone last week too when I heard about the him signing his post as Q. I thought that was very, very interesting, and
I think Nova Scotia
wanted to know more about him.
Nova Scotia is quite interesting.
Should I show
Yeah.
just a couple of them, Feisty?
Yeah, I think you should.
So I'll give you guys surface level. I think it's not something that we want to dig all the way into yet. Feisty and I had kind of
No.
decided about a half hour before the show that there's just too much information and we're not to the level of having a point in the research yet where we can present it. Otherwise, you guys will be watching a completely live and raw dig. But there is some really interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
So the Nova Scotia one, Sarge, did you see this? Hold on.
I don't think so.
Hold on. Let me bring it up. So, CBS News posted February 16th, 2016, 12:09 p.m. Eastern, last updated February 16 of 2016. Hi, Americans. Donald Trump may become the president of your country. If that happens and you decide to get the hell out of there, might I suggest moving to Cape Breton Island? So this is 2016. A website by Rob Calabrese pitches Cape Breton as a refuge for Americans fleeing the Donald Trump presidency. Stand by. It gets weird. That place is called the Flynn Cutler Robichaud House.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not kidding. This
What I
dig,
find interesting is the date, but keep going.
this dig is this is November 19th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
From the Urban Dictionary site where you can create your own mugs, greeting cards, temporary tattoos, etc. This is what they had to say about Arachat, one of the oldest communities in Nova Scotia, dating back way into the 1700s. Dude, every single, I have a stack of links that's 30, 40 high, and the number 17 is like, it's beyond the level of coincidence.
Yeah, you see that. You see it everywhere nowadays.
At that time, this town is quite famous. Nowadays, no one knows it even exists. It just gets, dude. I'm going to Arachat. Where the hell is that? Hold on. I mean, it just goes. Boone Cutler is, in my opinion, more than interesting.
Yeah.
The Havoc Journal, The American Warfighter, Evolved and Unbroken. Written May 10th, 2021 by Boone Cutler. This first appeared in the Havoc Journal on May 17th, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So Boone is super involved if you go back through history with advocating for soldiers that have mental issues or emotional issues that may cause them to potentially commit suicide or have committed suicide, and worked with the families that are victims of that.
Yes.
And it gets really deep, and the amount of times that 17 is referenced is almost absurd. Right. So I don't want to get into the whole dig, except for that. Here, you know what? I think there's something in here we can show. Maybe before we move on. I'd love to hear what you guys think about all this. It's not here. It's not where I thought it was. Maybe it's one of the next ones. This was weird to me. So on January 20th, 2017, Boone's literally described as an actor.
Yes, he's got an IMDb profile.
Yeah, he does. He's on IMDb.
I like legitimately love Boone Cutler, General Flynn, and
He's also into music.
Yep, he's done a music video, or
Washington, DC.
or he made an appearance in a music video.
Right.
20th of January 2017.
What day is that, by the way? Just remind me. Inauguration day?
What'd you say? I'm sorry, Feisty.
That's Inauguration Day. That's when Trump was
It
inaugurated.
is. It is. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it says that, I think. This is a screenshot because I don't want to pay for it. $45 for this image.
Yeah, that's just a random number.
Yeah. That's so funny. I mean, you gotta be kidding me, right?
Yeah.
It just goes on and on. Here's another one. Well, this one's older. So this one's from 23. It's more about 5th generation warfare, but there's a bunch of 17s in here that also, again, I don't want to get completely into the dig yet until I figure out my direction. Do you know Jeff Dardia, Sarge? Does that name ring a bell?
No, I don't know that.
Another interesting fellow.
So for anybody that wants to dig along and potentially, enjoys digging themselves, for you guys out there in the Rambo and Frens chats, Jeff Dardia was co-author with Boone on one of the prior books before Donald Trump came into office. Do you remember, Feisty, what it was titled?
Yeah, it's the no. The short answer, no. I had to close out that window, but it is about the healthcare issue.
I have it. I have to again. I have so.
Hold on,
many.
I'll grab it. Just
okay. So here's why I'm saying it, Sarge. Jeff Dardia is a co-author with Boone prior to Donald Trump taking the throne or whatever, and I didn't do this dig alone. Kim actually got interested in this one, and we spent some time on the couch trying not to think about my mom and Court, my son, or whatever, the rest of the kids. And so we were bouncing ideas, and she's come to the conclusion that if there's somebody that's pulling Boone's strings, potentially, right? This is allegedly. This is just a surface level dig yet. We're not all the way into it. But she has this idea that Jeff Dardia may be just slightly behind the scenes and in more control than we may know.
I could see that.
Right. If Boone is already potentially, with what we're seeing, at least a supporting cast of the Q movement, if not closer than we even want to believe, then Jeff Dardia would be even closer than that.
This is Jeff spelled Geoff, right?
It's spelled the gay way, Geoff.
Yeah.
I just in the chat the two links. It's FPL protocols.
So I'm looking at something here, just on his background a little bit. Looks like the Army gave him a tough time because he was in the Special Forces, and the Army gave him a tough time because they thought he was faking his health issues, and it turned out he had chronic lead poisoning. So he's got a bone to pick with some people.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, one other thing I just found too. So on SpartanSword.org, under the Who We Are section, it lists Boone Cutler as the chairman. All right, but this is the description. It says Boone Cutler is an author, columnist, music video director, and warfighter rights leader. He holds the distinguished honor of being the first nationally recognized radio talk show personality who is also a combat veteran from the current war. Usually they will tell you, the specific war that they served in. Current war. That's pretty interesting.
That's more than interesting. What does that mean?
It is.
The current.
I don't know.
One we're in
The
right
current
now,
war.
the silent war, right?
Yeah. Yes.
OMG. I see some of you guys showing up late. Hey, everybody out there, if you could, the same thing I always ask, hit that positive affirmation button, whether it be the thumbs up on Rumble, thumbs up on YouTube. If you're over there on X, please join us on one of these other two platforms, or at the very least, hit the heart and share the show out so we can get more people watching, because I have a blast doing this, and man, are we starting to get deep. It's getting good. Oh,
We always
so
have
what,
fun.
do you guys want to come on with me when I get Boone back? I really want to.
Oh, in a heartbeat. If we would be allowed.
That would be a blast.
That would be an absolute blast.
I just wonder if I have
7
the
years
gut.
of questions built up.
Although I would think his response would be, to say nothing or
Well,
or
did I
downplay our questions.
did I tell you guys? I know some of the people watching know this, but did I tell you guys about what happened in the space when I talked to Boone?
No, not me anyway.
You got to hear this. Well, so you have my full perspective. I went into a space that I believe AO was a co-host of, and he kind of put it out there like, hey, man, he was helping me out, to be honest. Like, he's one of our heroes. Do you want the opportunity to ask Boone and General Flynn a question? I'm like, yes. So I jump on the opportunity, and I have zero idea what question I'm going to ask. I was sitting in the crane at work, and I'm like, literally, I know that I'm coming up because I got brought up as a speaker. I had my hand up. My friends are the ones that are hosting it. I know I'm going to get this opportunity, and I get the opportunity, and I talk to General Flynn, and then that question kind of went well. But like, I talked to Boone, and I asked Boone a question about AI, and I insinuated what I think everybody is kind of aware of, that AI is a lot like other technologies where, we aren't really told about how strong these technologies are until like well behind the curve. Like, they have things that they can do that we aren't aware of right now, right? It's always well ahead of public knowledge. And so we're talking about AI specifically. So I asked Boone how long he thinks that AI has been successfully being used, on the American public. And he said very specifically that the first time AI was used successfully on American people was in 2017. And he instantly did a Donald Trump and kept right on moving, would not let me respond, because you know what I thought? 2017, I'm like, if he could have saw my face.
Yeah.
I'm like, you kidding me? That's when the first drops hit.
Like, which month?
Right. Was it AI that told me Hillary would be arrested?
Could have been. Well, there's always been that theory that AI was involved in the Q drops, right? So you've got a team of less than 10, but think about the body of knowledge and all those posts that were produced. You've got over 4,000 drops. Okay, that's enough to write a couple novels.
Yep.
And that's a lot of work for a single person to do.
I don't think any
it's
of
a lot of
person.
It's a lot of work for even 10 people to do, to put all of that together. So I think you need some kind of AI to support that effort.
And a very high-powered computer, right? That everybody don't have yet, but we do.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the drops told us, and I'm paraphrasing, that we would all laugh when we found out who was talking,
Who was
to us
talking
here.
to us?
If it's Boone Cutler, I'm gonna die. I've already had Boone on the show. If I was talking to Q, I'd be
We've talked about this before, that if you have data points plugged in, you can generate the narratives that you need. It's just the data points of a plan or set of actions.
Do you know why I pushed away from the idea, though, Feisty? And maybe I'm wrong for this. To be honest, I'll put it out there. I'm wrong all the time, so it doesn't offend me if I am. But there were certain personalities that said it was AI. like
Mhm.
Tory or whoever. And
Yeah.
I was like, damn it, like, and everyone's out here now telling me that, and so I fought against it.
But let me ask a question. What's wrong with it being AI?
Nothing. You're right.
I mean,
Nothing. And
technology
and
can be used for good as well as bad. What's wrong with the AI? And for anybody to not think that the whole Q movement isn't a reverse psyop, right? A counter coup, if you will, I think is delusional.
yeah, and I think we have a tough time digesting messages when they come from certain sources, right? That's the rub because when you have a person that's been misleading folks, well, you tend to tune them out. So even if they produce something that's correct or truthful, most people will just turn away and not even pay any attention. So you know, that's why we have to kind of get back to dissecting messages and not really caring about the person that's providing it because then that gives us some kind of emotional response instead of logical.
It's a perfect transition, Sarge.
Mhm.
Do you want to start? Do you want to talk? Okay, so look, I'll put what I see happening right now.
Yeah.
Lots of people, some of which I held close to my heart, have now kind of like flipped script. Right? Derek Johnson was one of the very first people in this movement to give me an opportunity to have people see that I was working really hard to do what I do in this movement. Right. So
Yep.
he came on with me as a guest before just about anybody knew who I was at all. Not that I'm anybody huge now, but the little bit that I do have, he deserves a little bit of credit for that because no one knew at the time at all. So he came on the show and he presented his information and he allowed me to ask questions the way that I ask questions, which I'm super grateful for. And he brought a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of those people stayed and they hung out with me. And so I'm grateful for that. He has since blocked me, which I found interesting. And he blocked me, like the little message I got was that he blocked me because he claimed that I was using his information without giving him credit. Not the case. I've never not given Derek credit. As a matter
Give
of fact,
everybody credit. That was BS.
yeah, I just did right now. So that's crap. And then I find out, because I can't see what he's posting, but I find out he turned on Flynn. And then Dr. Jen did something that made me completely uncomfortable about 6 months ago, give or take. And she said that Joe Rambo is a trusted source. And for anybody that knows me in the back channels, they know that I was like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah. Not the kind of attention you want.
Remember?
I couldn't believe it. Are you kidding me? Don't call me a trusted source. I'm out here telling you that anybody says that they're a trusted source and knows information that they're full of it. And you're going to sit here and call me that. Yeah. So I let it go. I let it slide. A bunch of people followed me because of it. I just kind of let it go. But it made me feel very awkward. I did talk to her multiple times on back channels privately, except for now, look, same thing. She flips on General Flynn. And I'm like, this is starting to not make a whole bunch of sense. Ariel is out here and Ariel has built this following, whereas if you don't agree with Ariel, you are the opposition. You are like an infiltrator. And it just doesn't make sense to me because I thought that we were supposed to be out here passing ideas back and forth and trying to get to an ultimate goal, which were things like, election integrity and saving kids and, flipping school boards. How is it that when we're attacking each other on whether or not someone is a traitor, which doesn't make sense to me to begin with. I'm gonna make one more point and I'll give it back. I don't mean to hijack, but Mike Pence, in my opinion, played his role. General Milley, in my opinion, played his role. Right? We can go right Barr. Right? Ray. We can go through all of these main characters and we can take a, 40,000-foot view, see that there's an operation in place, and we can discern that these people have played their role within this movie operation, whatever it is you want to call it. And so now we're all going to get stuck on this divisive conversation on whether or not General Flynn is a traitor. To me, it's so blatantly obvious that it's a division tactic that I just don't get it.
Yeah. It's a tough one to comprehend, right? It's, because it would be one thing if they were presenting evidence about him, that supported their ideas and their claims, but they're not, and they're literally resurrecting claims that were made 2-3 years ago, and a lot of those were made popular by Lynn Wood when Lynn Wood turned around and claimed or reversed course on Flynn and started speaking out against him. And so, and those claims have all been disproven over and over and over again, with valid evidence. And so to watch these claims being resurrected now it seems very, very coordinated. General Flynn recently said that we're up against a well-funded group of contractors, and so it's making sense to me now that timing's everything. Are they trying to throw us off script for the upcoming election? Are they trying to get us distracted, by getting us to fight with each other instead of focus on what's important?
Go ahead,
Well,
Feisty.
I think one of the things that happens with all of the divisiveness is we focus on that and not on what's coming out. There's been an awful lot of information coming out lately that deserves to be talked about, and we're not talking about it. So I think one of the things we have to be cognizant of is, there's several ways to take us off focus, and this is one of them.
I put out a post today, okay, and in the post, it's just kind of a gauge. But I asked 2 questions. Okay, first was, be honest, is the public anywhere near ready for full disclosure of the truth? And the second question was, would they even believe the truth if they saw it? Okay,
that's where I think you get hooked up right there. That question right there.
Yeah, and I put that out there because I've been doing some brainstorming on how do we cut through the BS that we're seeing on a daily basis. How do we chop through all the divisiveness, set our emotions aside and get people to focus on evidence. So I'm gonna try and get a project started here, maybe as soon as today, where I create a daily post, kind of like I used to do with the parasite discussions. We do like a post of the day and produce some kind of factual information to start dialogue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about the same thing here, but the daily post will be, we post a rumor, okay, and immediately following that we post evidence that dispels the rumor. Okay, it's not going to be about calling anybody out. It's not going to be about back and forth argument. It's going to be very black and white of cutting through that BS narrative with evidence and facts. Okay, and I'm going to want to encourage other people to do that, because unless we can deprogram ourselves from this mental conditioning, then we stand no chance at even seeing the truth when it's sitting right in front of our eyes.
We were told multiple times we are the news now.
Yes.
One of the, I guess, consternations I have with all of the infighting and chaos that's going on is we're not the news.
No.
We're tagging on to someone else's narrative that's inaccurate, but we're not the news. It puts us in a defensive position. So I think you're right. Don't call anybody out, but post facts. When we come up with a rumor, I mean, I've tried to do that all along, starting from the beginning with the prayer that General Flynn gave with the 7 rays. I mean, I guess unless you're Catholic, you don't understand it, but that's the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, and people don't know that.
Right.
And they think it's Satanist. Well, it was obviously subverted to that, but it was long since been the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit. There's 7 gifts, 9 fruits. But a lot of people don't know that information. And I think if we're going to be the news now, the rumor becomes the fact, and the fact stays, because we're not calling it on any one person. We're just stating a fact.
Very true.
I still, okay. I love the facts. I love what you're saying. And Feisty, your level of research, as I've told you a million times before, is next level. And I know that I operate much more on a gut level than you do on a research level. That's just a fact.
Mhm.
There's a reason that I do that. Number one is I'm very, very busy. And I think that I have a pretty good grasp on the 5th generation warfare aspect of what we're watching.
Mhm.
So when I post, it's not necessarily facts. It's Socratic method. I tried to emulate what I've learned from reading the drops. And this is one of the ones that I go to all the time because of it. Only Anons can fully appreciate the continued validations and confirmations through covert series of mathematically impossible coincidences means in order to maintain structural integrity. I don't think we're getting facts. Unless you're digging on the level you are.
But here's the thing: the most people dig on more of the surface level, right? You've got to go deeper in order to find some of the nuggets that actually reinform you. And I think we can be of service to that. We can say, "Did you know?" Kind of like the old commercials, you know. If we're going to just perpetuate somebody else's narrative, we're not going to look for it and understand it ourselves. It will always fly over the head. And wheels up means, come on, fly, let's go, let's get this done, because we do appreciate the mathematically impossible conditions that are surrounding us. And I think we can do this. And I think, Sarge, you're absolutely spot on when you say we can do this as a group. It doesn't focus on any one person. It doesn't focus on any one topic. It's just a matter of debunking some of the legacy falsities that have been out there from the beginning.
Right. And the thing that what I think will happen is that if we get enough people to participate in this, then we kind of grow the idea, right? That okay, we need evidence to support everything that that is said and that we do say in the future, and then maybe at some point we will be ready for a higher level of disclosure. Where if these truth bombs are dropped, people won't look away, and instead they'll focus on it and then do the research to actually go and confirm it.
It reminds me of the movie The American President, where he says, "Mr. President, people are looking for leadership, and they'll crawl through the sand towards a mirage thinking there's water, and when there isn't, they'll drink the sand." In other words, people will accept whatever sounds good unless something else is presented that provides that leadership. Of course, the return line was people drink the sand not because they don't have a choice, but because they don't know any different. And that's also true. If in the absence of real valid truths and evidence, people will drink that sand. I mean, I hate to bring that up, but the 19th president stuff, that kind of narrative took off and was wildfire because there was a lack of anything else.
Yeah.
I think that point is brilliant. So if you are able to take a step back and realize that from all sides in a 5th generation warfare atmosphere, they are trying to lead you around by your emotions.
Right.
And if you are able to come and grasp that reality, take a step back and look at everything. Some of the people, not even some, look, I don't care who you make the focal point of my point right now. But if you look at the way that the certain people have been propped up or showed up or the work that they've done, look, it's only because the names have already been dropped in the show. I'll say it. Derek blew up out of nowhere because of one viral post.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking him. I think a lot of what he did helped a whole lot of people. I'm just saying. Okay. Ariel has a whole bunch of information that is, because I'm able to do the things I started this point with, come off like a little bit like sus.
Mm-hmm.
There's others. I don't really want to call people out. I'm trying not to say a bunch of people's names, but
It
what I'd
doesn't
like,
matter. I mean, the fact of the matter is, what you're talking about there are narratives that, however it happened, and I think they were intentionally boosted, they went viral and became generally accepted truth.
Dr. Jan.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Jan went and did a bunch of TV shows overseas and blew up here, and a whole bunch of people, including myself, jumped into the hopium that came with it. She sounded just like us.
Yeah.
Except
That's usually
what she talked about was provably false.
that's what they do. Right? They come in reiterating, so they come in as a newcomer and they reiterate things that we think we already know.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they will come in and sell the facts first, and then they will throw in some falsehoods in there as well. And that's their tactic. And then as time goes on, then they'll reveal themselves and that they're full of crap. So
I highly suggest everyone does this, even with you could lump me right in the group. I don't care. Do it with everybody. But take a step back when somebody flips script on you, and look at where they came from. Look at how it happened, and consider it all, because if your goal ends up being something that's dividing us on a topic that doesn't fucking matter,
mm-hmm. That's the point. Because what that does is it takes us off focus, right? We start arguing the facts of a particular post, not the facts as they relate to what's going on today. And
what does it matter?
Diverted.
Somebody explain to me how it changes anything if General Flynn said, I might run for president in 2024. What in the hell does that change about a damn thing we're trying to do?
It doesn't matter at all. It's and for context there, I believe the comment was made as a contingency if the courts had prevented Trump from running. Right. So if Trump can't run, well, we need someone else to step up and not be a rhino.
But I don't know, was that even his comment? I don't even think it was his comment.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, but yeah, but I don't think it matters. That's my entire point.
Does it save a child? Does it save a kid?
Nope.
No. Does it help election integrity?
No.
Of course it doesn't.
No.
Does it flip a school board?
Mm-mm.
No. Does it do anything that we as a movement are trying to do collectively?
No.
It changes nothing. All it does is divide you.
Yeah.
They want you divided.
It gets people emotionally upset.
But that's why, and I love you to death, Joe, you know that. But the gut feeling has to be put on the shelf as well. You've got to back up your gut. You have to.
I agree.
The 72-hour rule is accurate and it is wise. And, it's one thing to discuss it, to try to navigate your way through the comments or the supposition, but you don't form an opinion until you've actually stepped back enough to be able to say, wait a minute, something's not right with this.
I agree with you.
Yep. And this is exactly why Feisty Cat has, like, for years, she's been the person I go to kind of, help organize my thoughts, and she's like a little compass for me, right? She helps point me back to true north when I'm veering off.
And let me be clear. I don't always get it right. I don't think any of us can. But I think the objective is have a healthy sense of questioning, right?
Yeah.
Just be apprehensive whenever a narrative comes out and just say, wait a minute, is there more to this? I have been saying from almost day one, the news is 99% fake, but there's always a nugget. So don't be afraid to look at all sources of news, whether it's CNN or New York Times, WAPO, any of them. There's always a nugget you can glean from. But you have to be able to say, my bias is on the shelf. I'm looking at data, just data.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't even know where to go. My biggest thing that I come to at this point is if your point is dividing us on something that doesn't matter, then I don't care about your point.
Right.
Yeah. Which is also dangerous though, because it may, so if, you see somebody coming, enter the conversation and they're being divisive, you're probably going to either block or mute them or just ignore them entirely. And you might miss something valid that they say down the road, right? So we have to be careful about our quick reaction to just discount what we think is nonsense all the time.
Absolutely
Okay.
agree with that. And I think we should not be afraid to at least observe posts where there's a lot of people involved, because there's a lot of back and forth in there that you might be able to get something from.
Yeah.
Tedious as it can be sometimes, and as frustrating as it can be, because a lot of the negativity is very frustrating to watch play out, because you can see what's false.
Is it bad though? Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to word this point. If half the movement wants to go fight over whether or not somebody's good or bad,
That's up to them.
it might be part of the process.
It could very well be.
And
Everybody
I'm not,
comes to truth on their own, right? And if it starts with them hanging on to or embracing something that's false, over time, hopefully they come to see the difference. But truth is still truth, and it's not subjective. And at some point, you're going to be confronted with enough evidence to say, well, maybe I was thinking wrong.
Yep.
I hope.
And that's,
Go ahead, Sarge.
I was gonna say that's the entire point of what I want to do is get people to finally start acknowledging evidence, even if it challenges their core beliefs.
The worldview.
Yeah. So we've gotta try to break through and get through to as many as possible. We were told that we all have some kind of role to play here, and I personally think that we have to help others out, throughout this entire process. Whether it's health or informing folks. I think we all have an important part to do here, and so one of us
is a man of the mountain, right? Not one of us has all
Right.
the answers, but I think if we give an honest look-see into what's going on, I think we can all come to the conclusion that what's more important is what's coming, not what's happening
Yes.
right in front of us.
Yep. And so we have to prepare people for what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And get them ready to accept it, because it's going to be painful for many if
For a
they
lot of
don't have
people, which
some
gets
kind of
back to
forewarning.
your thing this morning. Are people ready?
Yeah.
It's been my concern, Sarju, and I've talked about this how many times, that unless people see their favorite perp in orange, they're going to think the government is lying.
Yeah.
And, be prepared that the people you think are criminals may not be the criminals you think they are.
Right.
Well, here, okay. So if we really take a step back, this is my perspective. This is my view on this thing. I personally am a hopium guy, right? I think Patriots are in full control. I don't think that that's a secret at this point. I think that the mainstream media, the narrative on both sides, is for the mass majority of this country. Most people are not paying attention as close as we are. That is a fact. But what I think our role is we are amplifiers, right? So we're truth seekers. So we poke holes in the mainstream narrative, and then we amplify it to a level that is honestly competing with the mainstream at this point. So what is the goal that's accomplished by dividing us and getting us to fight over something that doesn't matter? We are no longer amplifying the provable holes in the mainstream narrative, which is absolutely 100%.
Still is you shut out the ability to even ask logical questions.
Yep.
We're so focused on who's right, who's wrong. We're no longer seeking what is or could be right. And I think one of the most dangerous things with divisive media, and which I also think is a part of the plan because it's controlled. I think one of the most dangerous things with divisive media is we get so focused on they are doing something. They are attacking. It's always the ubiquitous they, right? And what if they are a part of helping you wake up to the fallacy of what's going on? We've been told for over 4 years, trust the science. How many trust the science right now? The more they perpetuated that line, the less it was trustable. So I think we play a very valid role in not just pointing out the fallacy of what's written in the media, but pointing to the facts of, did you know? Did you know this happened? Did you know this or that happened? And I think if we stay focused on provable facts, we can't be taken down. We can't, they have to take us seriously.
Have you guys considered the idea? I'm going to think like Smart Paul and JF Non for just a second. Have you guys considered the thought that maybe these divisive characters are there being put there by good guys?
Yes. I've been saying
Possible,
it for a long time.
I've
They never thought she would lose. Okay, just take that statement and realize they are already a non-entity. They never thought she would lose, past tense. If you're looking at just that statement, then everything you're watching is intentional.
Yeah.
Somebody's feeding Ariel.
The New World Order is already gone. The coup, our government already had a coup performed against it. We're in a counter coup. And part of the counter coup is to throw everything against the wall and just systematically go through it.
Guys like Donnie Darkened and Ariel, many others. A lot of what they write is very intriguing.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not. These guys didn't build followings because they're boring.
Right.
And sometimes I wonder. I'm like, I don't see it that way. I certainly don't see it that way. But I can see why people are attracted to it. I mean, there's enough. I mean, we are in a state of 5th generation warfare. You can source your information from any damn angle. It's an interesting thought. If you consider the fact that it's a very good possibility that the white hats are the ones that took us off of Twitter to begin with. Because it wasn't time yet, because it upset people, because it led people by their emotions, because it furthered the plan, because we would see how bad they've done, and we can do what must be done because everybody will agree with us, right?
Or because Darn Cass couldn't have been as effective unless we were gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because
that's not a misspelling, right? I've proved that. It's a real word.
Well, timing is everything too, right? So imagine a scenario where we never got banned in the first place, and we would have accelerated the release. Yeah, the plan, the release of information, and apparently, looking at the way things have played out, that wasn't what they had in mind. So, I definitely think
that lesson the hard way, didn't I?
We all did. We all had this idea that Trump wasn't going to lose 2020, and then when he lost it, we had this idea that the Supreme Court was going to step in like, super quickly and put him back in office. That didn't happen. There were ideas that he could be the Speaker of the House.
Which I
Didn't
never
happen.
thought
So
was an actual.
right, but they were, a lot of theories were floated,
A lot of
and
stuff was drunk, right?
yeah, and so the reality is that nobody knows the plan. Nobody here knows how this is going to shake out or when it's going to happen. We have to focus on what we have control of, and
I don't know,
you know,
Sarge. It was posted
we
about
all
2013 though, dude.
yeah, but we all have the ability to research. We all have the ability to find evidence to to back up claims and accusations, or disprove those claims and accusations.
Mhm.
And and then we've got a country to save, and an election to win. So we all have the ability to step in and play those various roles. Getting involved in our local communities, become a poll worker, right? Make sure that there is a level of election integrity taking place.
Call me crazy. I don't care. Call me a hippie if you want. I think that some of this process is to open like a third eye, like a spiritual awakening. I think that we don't quite get there the whole way until everyone really learns to be on a completely free thought process, the divorced from emotion.
To your
Right.
point, this country was founded on a healthy distrust of government. We lost that. And what a healthy distrust means is not anything more than we're watching you. We stopped doing that. So a part
Yeah.
of this awakening is to get involved again. We are quite frankly, the primary branch of government stopped playing our role.
Well, I think 9/11 is a great example, right? So we got this big disaster, the buildings go down. I've got a whole bunch of people that die from that event, and so the country came together, right? We all came together. We're praying, trying to help each other out. But look at how quickly we forgot. Look at how quickly we went back to putting our heads down, living in our little bubbles, and going about our lives.
Yeah, and I don't find fault in some of that. Life got hard, right? Most of us
Right.
were working multiple jobs, trying to make the best of our day to day. And it's hard.
Yep.
It's hard to take that step back when you're consumed with just putting bread on your table. So I get that part of it. But if we're going to be the people that we're supposed to be, if we're supposed to be this American experiment, which is the people run the government, then we have to have those among us that are in a position to do just that. And I don't mean the newest fly-by-night, social media rage. I'm talking about each and every one of us has a role to play. That's why I totally subscribe to General Flynn's theory, local action is national impact, because until we are an active and productive member of our own, we can't take our country back. And
Yeah.
all of this will have been for nothing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because even if we win,
Mhm.
if the plan plays out and we get the results that we're all hoping for, there will be a lot of vacancies in public offices, on school boards.
It's already happening.
Yeah, and so if we don't have patriots ready to step up and fill those vacancies, then we're going to wind up right back where we started.
And let's be clear too, it's not about political stripe. It's about love
No.
of country. I don't care what your politics are. If you love your country, then the last thing you want to see is it handed over to a foreign enemy.
Right.
Man, this is going to be a weird transition because you're talking about things that are so important, and I'm going to bring some conspiracy fun stuff into this because you brought up 9/11. Okay, so I think everything we just talked about is so important. Hold Hold on, guy. I'm not ready for you. So, do you know how do you guys feel about gematria? I mostly think it's fake and gay. Let me just say that from the gate.
I think in the beginning it was different than what it is now. It got populated. The gematria generators got populated.
Yeah, I think there are some interesting things there, but overall, I think that it's overused.
Yeah, it got way overused. Yes.
Can I play a series of coincidences for you guys and get your opinion?
I love Quinky Dinks. Yes.
Okay. All right. So here's the first one. So this is some predictive programming, all of which has to do with Donald Trump and the numbers 11 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Please note that Einstein's clock is in precise synchronization with my control watch. Got it?
Right, check them.
What did I tell you? 88 miles per hour!
Wait for it. This gets real interesting.
Out of time.
This is what you were supposed to look like. They predicted you'd look like at 47 years old. And I have to say, they had you like a young Donald Trump. It looked like it's
like Donald Trump.
Oh, jeez.
There's a Donald Trumpiness to it.
Huge!
It was a huge. I was setting them up.
Read my
No, please, no, I cannot be fired.
So we stepped on that, but he said it was a huge sting operation. I was trying to set him up, and now look.
Wow.
Watch where you're going!
That's really a cool montage. I like that.
Yeah, that's really wild.
So what do you think of my Trump home?
So many comms.
Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. Wait for it. I got more. So
Looking good, number 9. Looking good.
he was inaugurated on 11/9.
See, not inaugurated. The election was.
Sorry, he won.
Luxury
Right.
Suite Savings event now through Labor Day.
Hold on. Wait for it.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by
Oh,
Sid?
shush for a second. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. 911.
Dude, it starts to get weirder and weirder.
In the last 5 minutes, the volume calls in here has tripled. What the hell is going on?
Stop. Let me explain. For the rest of the day, we're supposed to handle the department's communication.
What do you mean, handle?
They're shutting down the police van. All calls will be coming through this switchboard.
And I'm going to marry Donald Trump.
You kidding me? Hold on.
Hi, this is Daniel Clamp. You know, no business in New York is complete without a tour of the world's most fully automated office building. My Clamp Premier Regency Trade Center and Retail Concourse, headquarters of Clamp Enterprises and home of CCN, Clamp Cable Network Television.
The death of Mr. Wing removes the last obstacle to developer Daniel Clamp's long-delayed Chinatown project. This quaint little shop, which once housed many rare objects from the Orient, must now make way for the future, Daniel Clamp style.
The Clamp Premier Regency Office Center, where one man's dream became a reality. I hope you enjoyed today's tour, and don't forget, pick up your copy of Mr. Clamp's best-selling book, I Took Manhattan, on sale right here at our newsstand for only $19.95.
Hey, that's Clamp. Let's go.
Mr. Clamp, is it true the building's been evacuated?
Sir, is the building on fire? No, that's a false alarm. We've just got some problems.
Problems? You got a guy in there in a Dracula costume broadcasting stuff with little green monsters. Are you trying to panic New York City?
Absolutely.
So the monsters are real?
I didn't say that.
Then what are you saying? That's what I always.
So
Wow.
9/11. I'm trying to save two more to show you. The 9/11 thing's ridiculous. Do you remember? Hold on, let me take this off for a second. Do you remember the number on the side of the airplane that on the Afghanistan pullout?
Which was clearly a blow up plane, right?
Thank you.
Yep.
1109. Is this a mathematical amount of coincidences that just aren't possible?
It's definitely something to consider that that you can't ignore.
I got two more I want to show you, but I'm waiting for them to load. I didn't plan on doing this, but you brought up 9/11. I blame you, Sarge.
It's always Sarge's fault.
Yeah.
He's got big shoulders.
I just love the fact that you've got all these videos ready to go. Like yeah, I may have triggered it, but
Oh yeah, that's what I
you're
did.
you're right there with everything ready to go. Push play.
Well, watch. Okay, so here's the plane. I want everybody look. Everybody's seen this kind of ad nauseum at this point, especially if you watch the show or watch me on X or anything. But take notice of how the downtrodden Afghanis are acting in this scene. Acting is a huge word. Watch them laughing and waving and smiling and having a blast. And tell me if you think that any of them are in the mindset to hang on to 350 feet and then let go.
Yeah.
Well, here we go.
There's no turbine in that plane, right?
I don't care what anybody says ever. Those are actors, and that's not a plane.
Right. So did you know about the agreement? Not all of it, obviously, is public, just the fact sheet. But there's an agreement between the Trump administration, both Trump and Pompeo negotiated an agreement with the Taliban.
Yes, I do. And people want to pretend like this isn't a thing. Donald Trump made plans and very public plans to pull out of Afghanistan
Right.
for a very long
And
time.
leave all that equipment.
Yeah, it was literally payment.
Right. and the fact that the CIA director Burns was there the entire week before, it was notable that the executive plane was on the tarmac at the airport constantly for an entire week, pinging location. So, I mean, yeah, you're watching something unfold, and dare I say, without getting people upset, you're watching a movie. What's the purpose of the movie, I think, is the bigger question. And it's to wake you up as to what would have been.
Yep.
And what could still possibly happen if we don't come together.
You're absolutely right. And I got one more to show you. I want to take a second and thank everybody that's been supporting us. So Heidi Erickson just dropped it a $20 Rumble rant. Says acting, a very important word, with a big laughing emoji.
Takes good actors.
Right. Lord of the Pepe, $5 said, and there's a way to have a conversation and not be divisional about it. Great ideas and theories have evolved from a healthy debate.
Right.
I could not agree more.
Absolutely.
And Lord also gifted $2 more and said, one of my favorite things about being an Anon is the discernment and the fact that we promote the idea that we can have our individual thoughts and then come together and share them to help learn the truth. I could not agree with that more. Love Lord, by the way. She's been on here. It's been way too long. I should get her back on here to hang out one day. She started hanging out over on your page too, right, Feisty?
Who?
Lord of the Pepe?
Oh, yeah. She joined my Telegram chat a couple weeks ago, I guess.
Yeah,
It's been a lot of fun.
She's a good friend. Her and I have been through some things with the ghosts and all. So
She's
I
a lot of
appreciate
fun to be with.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this one? I think you might have, but I'm going to play it anyway.
I think I've seen this.
There's no way. You had to have. Hold on. I'm going to stop it. Hold on.
Yeah,
I want to
I've
ask you
seen
a question. I want to ask you a question first. What do you think of the Ingersoll Lockwood books?
The books themselves?
Yeah. I guess to be more specific, do you think that time travel's real? Do you think that they're inserted history? Do you think that?
History.
Thank you. I agree. Sarge, do you have a thought on that?
Well, so if I don't know, the whole idea of time travel is its own paradox because of the fact that if it is real, then obviously they've got the ability to go back to any point in time and modify or shape it.
And
So,
what's the purpose of AI?
right.
So this is only a clip of this. I have gone back and tried to confirm, and I'm pretty sure I confirmed it, that this is legit as far as you're able to go back and confirm it. I'm not sure if it's still inserted or not, but I know it's weird. I even have one I haven't shown on this show in a long time. Did you guys see the I want to say it's rock and roll, whatever, heavy metal magazine?
Yeah.
OMG. That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's watch this one quick.
I bring you a message few of you will be able to believe, a message of great importance, a message I alone was able to read in the fires of the universe. But be not afraid, my friends. I also bring you the means with which to save yourselves. Save us from what? From the end of the world, friend. Which I don't expect you to believe.
Tell me something. What's going on in this town anyway? Did your mayor die or what?
World's coming to an end.
How's that?
Midnight tonight, the whole caboodle's gonna burn up.
Where'd you get that?
Fellow back there.
For the one with the hat on?
Mm-mm. Other one.
He says the world is going to come to an end.
Midnight tonight.
Where's he from?
Drove in this morning. Wagon out front.
Mm-hmm. Got a name?
Trump.
I bet it fits. Yeah, I heard. Your name is Trump?
Dr. Walter Trump. I am the only one. Just me. I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate.
What do we do? How do we save ourselves?
You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you.
Building a wall and Trump in 1950. Pretty cool.
Wow. Yep.
Make it make sense. It's so funny. Well, I don't expect a whole lot of commentary on that. It's just really fun stuff. But this one I do. Feisty, you've kind of helped me dig on it a little bit. What do you think of CBS 17 out of North Carolina?
You mean the TV station that ranges 23 counties on Route 17? I think I dropped you some of the facts on it. I thought it was hysterical.
Sarge, have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, look, I'm gonna give you my backstory, and then if I see, I want to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
So I realized a few weeks ago back, Sarge, that CBS 17 out of North Carolina seems to be like, for some reason, their clips always end up in my posts, and I always jokingly point out that they're CBS 17 because it's like kind of in your face. So when I realized how often they were coming up in my searches and how often I was using them in my posts, I started to think, am I just being cute or is there something to this? Right. So I went back through and I started looking, and one of the ones that, okay, so if you look up the 9/11 come full circle, clip of Hillary getting escorted into the van, whether she had handcuffs on or not. Hold on.
Yeah, where they zoom in.
Well, let me.
Or they let the.
I'm
they let
going to
the
look
focus up on it.
instead of just telling you. I'm going to show you. So, Josh. So, if I just put in 9/11 Memorial Hillary, right? Pretty sure that'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over here so I can show you guys. If you put in what I just said, 9/11 Memorial Hillary, a whole bunch of clips come up, right? Look at the one. Look at the one. If I get there, I hope it's here. Don't make me a liar.
It's down quite a few.
Okay. The CBS 17 version. Oh man, where is it?
Wait a minute. It was like number 3 when I looked it up the other day.
Literally just here when we did it before. Oh, there it is.
There it is right there.
Do you see that, Sarge?
Yep, they're the only ones with that with that fisheye view.
Yes, with the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
So that was the first point. Then there was a bunch of videos, which maybe I'll show here in just a second. But I started to realize that a lot of their posts, a lot of their clips, really kind of mirror or parallel everything we talk about in this movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew nothing but what I was going on with my gut at the time. And I started to show some of their clips just to show the coincidences like I do. And Absolute 1776 jumped in and he said, you realize that the 4th PSYOP group is located within their airing with their, it's literally their local news station.
Mm-hmm. Look at what I put into the private chat on this, the last post.
Dardia? Is that or the last one?
Yeah, Dardia is the founder of Meta Special Operations Transition Program. Where is that exactly?
Are you talking about this?
No.
Okay.
Well, that's the program. Okay. Meta is an education-based transition program for all soft service members and their families on Fort Liberty.
Okay. So my next question to you, Feisty, is can you give us the reason that 23 is significant?
23 has always been associated with pain. If you go back through the Q post, there was a point in 2018 where Q supposedly, they say inadvertently, it wasn't inadvertent, it was intentional. It says, now comes the pain in 23. Pain in 23, we thought it meant 2023. Well, at the time we thought it was 23 days, but 2023 was a painful year. But pain itself is the number with, oh God, I told you all about it yesterday, but there's biblical significance, there's a numerical significance with it being a painful time, with it being a time or a period of atonement. And so 23 is an important number when you think of this movement with accountability. And obviously 33 is the cleansing. So you have a classic good versus evil, 33 versus 23.
All right, Sarge, I'm going to give you a few examples so you can see why my brain did this. Okay.
Yep.
So this is the most recent one that I posted anyway. And I said, here we go again. CBS 17, the 4th PSYOP group's local channel reports 878,000. So 878, 23.
Yep.
As well as a 1.7 million grant application. Look, so listen, at first glance, you watch one of these and you're like, that's nothing, right? Let's check one out.
$1,000 to buy body cameras and other technology for the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, CBS 17's.
$1,000 to buy body cameras and other technology for the Wake County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, CBS 17's Bray Hollingsworth joining us live from their headquarters.
So when you watch these, Sarge, I want you to look at all the details. Wake County.
Wake.
Do you want to know one of the other places that's within? Right. One of the other places that's within their airing circumference, whatever it is Durham.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I know.
The exact 3 counties.
Dude, this gets really, really crazy. Watch.
In Raleigh, certainly a much needed purchase, Brea.
Yeah, Bill Liz, Congressman Nickel and the Wake County Sheriff's Office announcing that federal money today. They say they are planning to use it to purchase body cameras, radars, and other much needed technology. That's not the only money that was announced today. Congressman Nickel also announced a new $1.7 million community project grant request. If approved, that money would also let the Sheriff's Office buy more equipment.
It's going to help
8 plus 7 plus 8.
safety, security of our inmates, also transparency. There's an actual recording of what occurs during our interaction with our inmates, with staff members, and with the public.
And the Sheriff's Office says if they do end up getting that $1.7 million approved, they're planning to use it to purchase mobile network devices and also vehicle alarms. In Raleigh, Brea Hollingsworth, CBS 17 News.
Much needed resources. Yes, Brea, thank you so much.
I love that. I love that.
Of course, it's $1.7 million.
And 878 is 23.
Yep.
Look, it just keeps going, dude. I can do this all day on this channel. All right, so here's one. The Force PSYOP Group local news channel, CBS 17, is at it again. I've been watching this channel close because they seem to be mirroring what I think is actually going on. Listen to this one. Durham, North Carolina, 150. Here, just listen for yourself.
We had a rash of shootings over the last 12 days.
But District Attorney Satana DeBerry says that's not the norm.
Overall, violent crime is at a 20-year low here.
Still, she says when violent crimes like this come in clusters, they take up resources that the office is already spreading out.
2/3 of the prosecutors in my office work on violent crime. And that is because the real high level of complexity of those cases.
The district attorney's office has closed 150 homicide cases in the county since 2019, but that takes time. As DeBerry says, the cases have mountains of evidence to go through.
Not just the actual physical evidence from the shootings, but additionally, we have digital evidence. Now there's social media, there are body cameras, there are cameras on the streets. There are so many things that now we have to, so much evidence that we now have to gather in those cases that it can take years.
The office recently was awarded federal funding for an assistant district attorney to work solely on sexual assault cases. Now, DeBerry says they need even more help for these cases.
We're actually...
Wait, why is sexual assault cases even in this story?
I don't know. Yeah. Also notice how it's getting answers, Durham.
Bro, you have no idea the amount of stories that are in Durham, North Carolina, which is right next to the Force PSYOP Group, which is also where the Kraken was born and raised.
Yep.
This channel is blowing my mind. I've given you 2 small examples. I have dozens of them. Dozens. I don't even know where to pull another one for you right away, but I literally have dozens of them. Is it possible? Here's one. Oh no, that's the same one. Sorry. Here, I'm going to take this off. Is it possible?
Anything is possible. I mean,
I mean, it's very possible that that the PSYOP group is involved in the operation of that news station.
Feisty, didn't you say they're not even really CBS anymore?
No, it's been NBC since February 2021, I think.
What, CBS 17?
NBC took it over February 21. I think it was February 21. I said it to you in your Telegram group.
Yeah, you did. I'm doing too many things at once. I want to show
That's
you a couple.
weird.
It's really weird. Nothing about it makes any sense at all, to be honest.
Why wouldn't they display an NBC logo on their,
I don't know.
on their website?
I brought it up for him. Here it is.
So, hold on. Let me show this too. Let me see if I even still have it. No, it's okay. I can look it up real quick. So, Fourth PSYOP Group, just so everybody's aware, is literally at least according to Google, the location is Fort Liberty.
Yeah,
which
that's
is,
why I brought up the Guardian thing.
yeah. And then hold on. I'm gonna pull up more. I go to Twitter. Yeah. So CBS 17. I know I have more. Okay, so this was one of the first ones that I did. Save the messages. Hold for processing. Okay, so here's another one. Check this out. All right. This is the first one that set me off, that made me realize that the other ones I did from CBS 17 started to connect. So in this one, I wrote, not joking, I'm starting to think that the small CBS 17 channel is giving us specific messaging. Yes, 17. Listen to the clip. Chaos and protests on the UNC campus, Israeli protests, both sides of which hate Biden, is symbolic. Think dual citizenship. Think saving Israel for last. In this clip, young American show respect for the flag and the men and women who fought for it. Again, symbolic in the direction we are headed. Our flag will not touch the ground. Our republic will be restored. So this was the clip that made me realize they were making it cool to be American.
These moments on UNC's campus are resonating with thousands across the country.
When we went in, we said, we will not let the headline of this day be an American flag falls at UNC.
Ongoing protests against the war in Gaza intensified on campus Tuesday. At one point, pro-Palestinian protesters replaced the American flag flying over the quad with a Palestinian one. After university administrators brought a new flag, they tried bringing that one down as well.
My friends and I kind of looked at each other and then said, we should go over there.
Jason Calderon joined several of his fellow students in propping up the flag to prevent it from touching the ground. All while he says he and others were pelted with objects from protesters.
So many Americans in history have fought for the ideals of justice and freedom that flag represents. And who are we if we don't take some water balloons and take some yelling and some chaos to, reap the benefits of what they've sown for American society?
Images of the students' actions flooded social media, leading to the creation of a GoFundMe to benefit fraternities whose members protected the flag. It raised more than $250,000 within 12 hours.
So many people are seeing that UNC is a beacon of light.
On campus, steps are being taken to make sure it doesn't happen again.
It was really just inspirational for us to see everybody coming together and the chancellor coming in and saying, as long as I'm chancellor, that flag will stay up.
I reached out to the fraternities named in the fundraiser, but have not heard back yet. In Chapel Hill, Harrison Grubb, CBS 17 News.
Bro, I actually can't wait to show you the ones I just pulled up. I can't wait. So can you tell us the address?
So
It's in Raleigh, right?
it's in Raleigh, yeah, which is
1205
about out
Front Street. Front Street.
1205. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Okay.
1205. Yeah, I caught it.
All right. You ready for this? So, I think that's one I played. I got 3 more I want to show you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell me how much coincidence is too many for it to be mathematically impossible. So this is a 17-second clip.
Discriminating against Black, Native Americans, and multiracial people looking for jobs at the store. The EEOC filed a suit in Baltimore against Altoona, Pennsylvania-based Sheetz.
Discrimination lawsuit.
Yeah, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is accusing the convenience store chain of discriminating against Black, Native Americans, and multiracial people looking for jobs at the store. The EEOC filed a suit in Baltimore against Altoona.
Okay, so that was the completely absurd. You guys remember that story where
I do.
was
Yep.
suing Sheetz? Okay, so that one was interesting. Let me take this one off. It gets better. All right. So in this one, wait for it. Dog comms in Durham. Literally dog comms in Durham. You ready for this?
Police department's first therapy dog.
Let's start over.
Welcoming a new dog to their force.
This is Siren. Siren is adorable. This is she's the police department's first therapy dog. Siren will be a part of their peer support program to help first responders who deal with traumatic events. Therapy dogs are known to help lower stress, anxiety, and help alleviate mood or elevate mood rather. She will also serve victim services to comfort people when needed. And with that face, I don't know,
God,
like how adorable.
Now wait, you can't just watch one story on its own. We just talked about Durham getting 878,000 in funding and also 1.7, and now Durham Police is
federal funding.
Federal funding, yes, federal funding, and now dog comms. Now this is my favorite one, Sarge. This last one, Feisty. I think I already showed you these, right?
Yeah, I saw this one. I knew where you're going.
This is my favorite. So, this isn't just, I want you to look at the numbers as well, Sarge, as we've already highlighted what the number 23 means. This is something that they did this month at CBS 17. Listen.
17 on this first day of May. We do have some April business to finish up, and after getting 23 of 30 forecasts correct, we are going to hand over our check today to our 3-degree guaranteed charity, Living with Autism. Ladies, glad you're here. Daniel, I'll let you start us off.
On behalf of CBS 17 and Michael & Son, I'm happy to present you this check of $2,300.
Awesome. Hannah, Jenna, we're so happy to do this for you. What are you guys going to be able to do for your clients with this money?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to CBS 17 and to Michael & Son. This is such an extraordinary donation. And we are going to use it for our facility. We are growing rapidly. So we are serving 68 clients with severe special needs. And with those severe special needs, we need one-on-one care for each of those clients. So we are running out of parking. So we are going to expand our parking with this check and get more clients in for the summer.
Awesome. Well, we are so happy to help you guys grow and keep up the great work. To learn more about Living with Autism, click on the weather tab on cbs17.com. And of course, stay tuned for more 3-degree guarantee throughout the month of May.
The weather.
Yeah.
Don't you just love those climate change comms?
Yep.
Climate change, they're really hat tipping autists.
I know.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Sarge, do you know what their weather team's called?
Storm? No, not sure.
CBS 17 Storm Team.
There you go.
That's so funny. I don't know. I don't know if maybe I'm just seeing comms everywhere. I don't know if it's all coincidence. All I know is that channel seems really interesting. I don't know.
I think those are fun things. I really do.
They are fun. And even if they're just doing it so somebody, like some of us, pick up on it, it's still fun.
Well, it gives you something to have a giggle about.
The cartoon narrative.
Synchronicity is amazing.
I'm still shocked over the NBC thing.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Yeah.
Trying to remember the exact date. I remember it was February. I don't remember if it was 2019 or 2021.
You did send it to me. I can look.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Would you just send it to me in Telegram?
I don't remember.
Me either. We talk on like 9 different.
I know we talk everywhere, so it's like, wait a minute, where we gotta start just
focusing on
one place because I just can't remember.
Yeah, I can't either. Here's the thing: if they really are in control of media, and they really are doing things like crazy ass wordplay, like Sam Bankman-Fried and Stormy Daniels, right? So we're either seeing coincidences everywhere that are like crazy, or somebody's really funny.
Okay, here's something interesting. So that news station, they rebranded
Mhm.
to CBS 17. It was they were called CBS North Carolina,
Right.
and on March 15th of 2018 they rebranded to CBS 17.
That's crazy. Pepe Deluxe just texted me and said, I've been watching that CBS 17 since 2018.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I literally was just up late one night. And, you know, that rebranding thing's funny too. Did I tell you guys what my company's new name is?
No. Oh, you might have. Yeah, but I forgot. I forgot what it was. So you can refresh us.
It's funny enough to repeat. So I'm gonna get fired after this. Glad my face isn't on the screen for this one, but it used to be called. It used to be called Covanta.
Yeah.
So we you know we recycle, right? So we burn trash and we make electricity. And we make sure that the air is clean before it goes out in the atmosphere, which I think is responsible. We do a very good job of that. We work very hard to do so. And we were bought out. It happens a lot in these energy plants around the country. And the new name for the company was revealed to us 2 weeks ago, and we were encouraged to put it out on our social media. I told them that they probably don't want me to do that. But because the new name of the company is Reworld. Like
Reworld.
recycle, whatever. But it's now called Reworld. And all I could think of was the girl screaming when Donald Trump got elected. I could just imagine the Pepe memes if I were to put out the new company's name on my Twitter account.
Yeah.
Reworld. That's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting because they're always trying to make me go to some inclusivity training. The latest meeting I went to, the inclusivity moment, Feisty, was that the number one draft pick for the WNBA was paid like not as much by a long shot as the number one draft for the NBA.
Okay.
I looked at the plant manager like a confused, slightly angry puppy dog. And I thought, why aren't we comparing then the number one drafted soccer player in the U.S. or the number one drafted lacrosse player? Or they're not even the same company. If one human being wants to be paid the same as the other human being, and we're going to compare them, then both human beings should work at the same company, or at least in the same league. It didn't make any sense to me. It's such a far stretch at this point to try to make things inclusive that you're dividing us. The WNBA doesn't bring in nearly as much in revenue through ticket sales and endorsements and commercials as the NBA does. That has nothing to do with the sex of the two people. It just didn't make any sense to me. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I was gonna say I was gonna say I'm not a big fan of women's basketball beyond college, so it's I like watching women's sports at times, but yeah, women's basketball never really was all that exciting for me. Whereas I grew up watching the NBA and found that to be exciting at times until probably the mid '90s when a lot of my basketball idols started to retire.
Feisty, what were you gonna say?
I don't follow sports much. I never have. I'm not interested.
Okay, yeah. So take sports out of it. Let's just use common sense.
Okay.
Donald Trump talks about women's women in men's sports. He talks about weightlifting, and if guy acts like cuts his junk off,
all of that, right?
If he goes over there and she tries with all her might to lift the bar, and then the guy walks over there and does it with his pinky and lifts it up. There's a thing called biology. There's a thing that's just realistic.
Different than following the sports teams. I agree with that whole thing.
It really comes down to if there's a market for it, right? And I don't, personally, I don't think that there's enough of an interest in professional women's sports, most of them anyway, that it's going to create, that it's going to generate large revenue to be able to play these, to pay these top dollar salaries.
Some of the salaries.
I think part of the goal is to take away the commercialism of the sports because it stopped being sports a long time ago. I mean, watch the football for what? A satanic halftime?
Oh, I know.
It's scripted.
Like that's that's their the Super Bowl is the culmination of the entire season, and it's highlighted by
everybody's
by a
quick
satanic
to
halftime
point
show.
out the commercials. We share the commercials. Everybody wants to see I don't know if anybody wants to see it anymore, but the halftime show, it stopped being about sports a long time ago. And I personally, when they started unionizing these teams, it became a corporation that was no longer focused on the sports. We've known for decades how they are yanking kids out of, high school and putting them on teams and grooming them from the time they're in elementary school.
Well, and they've proven to us multiple times through many psyops that the NFL is completely controlled. They did it with Tom Brady. They've done it with.
But if the NFL is controlled, why aren't the rest of the sports, right?
Because something to consider is that they're selling a story to people, right? So and Tom Brady's a great example, right? He went super late in the NFL draft, picked up by the Patriots. And I grew up a Patriots fan. But then of course he comes in and, Drew Bledsoe comes down. Drew Bledsoe went out with I think it was a knee injury or ankle injury. And Tom Brady stepped in, and it was right after 9/11. Right. So what better story than to, than to watch the New England Patriots go on and win a Super Bowl in the face of adversity. Right. So, and then of course he went on to win the next 2 Super Bowls in a row, became largely hated. They got accused of cheating, so on and so forth. And, but yeah, I think sports is all of it. It became less about the sport itself and more about telling a story.
There was psyops in that too, right? There's messaging in that. They got caught cheating. He threw away his cell phone, Hillary Clinton. There was all types of messages in that whole thing.
Yeah.
We watched what's his face fall down because of a COVID vaccine. Then we watched some guy show up that wasn't him.
Yeah.
The amount. Okay, look. The NFL boils down to something very simple. It's a $1 billion business that can easily be controlled by yellow flags.
Right.
Yeah.
The players don't even have to know it's being controlled. It can literally just be the stripes, and they can control who wins and who loses. And anyone that thinks that there isn't a multi-million, potentially $1 billion business that's being slightly controlled so that they make the most money is fooling themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
The messaging and the money, the power and the control, that's all that matters when a business is as big as that. And the NFL is spreading like a virus. They're trying to push it into Europe and everywhere else. So
it reminds me of Christopher Steele's investigation, I'm using air quotes, into the soccer team, the soccer designation. Remember, what brought him to fame is he claimed that Russia committed fraud, and what it was all about was, Britain wanted the games, and so they were taken away from Russia and went to Britain. It was a phony report from day one. So what you're talking about is using the idea of sports where everybody is focused to not just convey a narrative, but also to help perpetuate whatever it is you want to have come out. And I think when you've got a $1 billion industry that's not about the sport, but about the corporation that controls them, you no longer not only don't have sports, but you become a victim of the propaganda war.
Well, the really cool part is they put out comms that made us excited too. There was a lot of them in the Super Bowl. There was.
I will agree, but again,
well, okay.
I don't follow a lot of sports because I don't. I'm not a sports aficionado, and I'll be the first to admit it.
But
and
Feisty,
I realize a lot of people are, but I got tired of the programming of all this dark, seedy stuff, and that's not for me.
as it shouldn't be. And here's the thing: if Patriots are in full control, as we've discussed ad nauseum, if things like taking everyone off of Twitter potentially happen by the good guys, then why wouldn't the Super Bowl push satanic ritual bullshit
people push
to piss
out of
everyone
the
off?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just
but
like.
Here's the thing: if you're talking marketing, right? If you're talking potential revenue, and people are walking away, then that hurts the corporation. The problem is I see the stands; they're not any emptier, and the purchase of the sports channel so you can watch the game hasn't gone down, which I had hoped would happen. But
The Super Bowl is one of the. This isn't a secret. This is something pretty well known. But the Super Bowl is the event for human trafficking.
Right.
Yeah.
It is, which we've seen. That's the whole owls thing, right?
But here we are talking about it because we're all waking up to it. And so I think that there may be some intentional messaging so that we're all aware. I don't know.
Well, I know in 2020, there was some pretty high level takedowns that happened with the Super Bowl and trafficking with the massage parlors, remember?
Yep.
Yep.
No,
And isn't it interesting? We're talking brothels now in the DC area. It all comes back to that, right?
Well, you were saying to me on back channels that you think that human trafficking and sexual abuse is being prosecuted globally at a level it's never been. That's
absolutely true. If you go up and look at any of the U.S. attorney sites, the state AG sites, the national, DOJ site, you will see that they're taking not even a tenth of it gets reported. Big trafficking busts, both drug and human.
Yeah, so it's wild because I'm sure you guys know of Nicole 1776, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's the person that reported on Etsy, and then of course she was targeted by Media Matters. Well, she is like continuously every single day spitting out stories about sex trafficking and child abuse,
right.
like all day long. And I think she maintains a spreadsheet of all the stories, and it's like I don't know how she does it, but the fact that she hasn't slowed down tells you that yes, they are catching a lot of people across the country.
Ever since
finding them guilty.
Down in 2018, the number of cases that are being adjudicated is off the charts. You can't miss it once you go looking for it. It's right there in your face. They just don't get reported on.
Well, I tend to believe that there's a whole lot of cases going on that aren't getting reported on.
Well, here's one of the problems with it. This, I think, partly why we don't hear so much about it is that's all tied up in a massive international RICO that would probably blow people's minds as to what's going on with that.
Do you think we'll find out?
I actually do, because we've had enough, tips. Remember last April from Jim Jordan's committee, we got the IRS whistleblower that told us about a $6 billion international case, RICO case, that's going on in Delaware. So either I would tend to think they wouldn't release that unless it's either A, adjudicated, or too close to the end, but you don't give up your evidence before the case is over, right? So something happened in Delaware, and that was a $6 billion case. Everybody talks about Hunter Biden. It's what, millions, where this is a $6 billion international trafficking and drug RICO that they're investigating there. And that came on the heels of the Clinton administration or the Clinton Foundation case that adjudicated. So yeah, this is massive. What's going on is massive. And we've had many people tell us it would blow our minds as to what they're investigating.
No coincidences.
No,
No, not at all.
Well,
which is why I think a lot of this stuff is coming out now. We're that close, in my view, we're that close to the end, right?
I definitely believe you're right.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're told Israel for last, right? And who's front and center right now? You know, so
well, Israel was an interesting story because just like in Ukraine, what did Putin say? He wanted to denazify. What is Hamas? They're communists. And I don't think it's about the Israelites or the Palestinians. It's about the communist movement that has kept that region in chaos for decades. And if you go back to Turkey with the Gulen coup attempt, I think you see a much bigger picture in that region.
Yep. Well, and then going back to Hamas, you know, they're basically the equivalent of of Al Qaeda in a way. You know, how our CIA created Al Qaeda. Well, there's information that shows that Israel's Mossad had a hand in creating Hamas, right? So
we also gave Iran $6 billion.
Yes.
So I mean, we're funding both sides of the conflict. I don't think that's even in doubt anymore.
But the communist ties run deep on all sides. I think that's
right.
Yeah.
Which is the coup that took down America already. What a lot of people don't realize is the coup had already happened here.
Yeah.
What we're looking at, what we're experiencing, is the counter coup that unravels all of that. And if that's the case here, then I think it's safe to extend that thought into Israel, Ukraine, and some of these other regions.
Right.
Is it safe to say that? I think it's safe to say. I'll just say that. I don't know how to do this without hurting some of my friends' feelings. I'm going to hurt some of my friends' feelings. It is what it is. I hope they understand that they're still friends and I love them, but this is just my opinion. Some people are completely up in arms, completely, to the point of, like, I wish I could tell them to chill out, up in arms about Israel. And I mean, some major people I look up to, but I'm of this mindset that there's no possible way we can know exactly what's happening over there. We just can't.
How do you know? We could do all the research in the world, but there's obviously a part of this that has been kept very close to the vest.
I made a post yesterday, I think it was, because drug addiction is very close. That's not a secret, right? You guys all know that drug addiction is something that I am very passionate about. And being that I like to, call myself a digger, at least to a level, I have looked very deeply into how drugs were pushed into this country. And if you really look into it, unfortunately, what you come to find out is our own three-letter agencies, specifically the DEA and the CIA, worked very closely in tandem with Mossad to traffic specifically crack cocaine and also many other forms of narcotics into our country. And they literally, they've jailed people that worked for them, like White Boy Rick. They've killed thousands and thousands and thousands of kids and people. And it was literally our own 3-letter agencies working hand in hand with Mossad.
Well, think about it.
Big bullet point to me.
Think about it. How do you declare war on an idea, right? So the war on drugs, the war on terror. War is typically, yeah, when you declare a war, you're declaring war against another entity, and then you are allocating assets towards fighting that entity. So, okay, so the U.S. declared, endless wars against against an idea and allocated assets, or basically funded assets, to fight the idea. And where are we with the war on drugs right now?
It's literally a micro example of every war we've ever been in.
Yeah, I mean, have we? Has the war on drugs been won? Has there been a dent put in it? I don't think so.
So, do you guys know the story between Tomas Yarrington and Rebecca Luba? Did you ever hear that name?
No.
Okay. He was for a while, he was governor of Tamaulipas, which is on the eastern side of Mexico, just below Brownsville. He ran the Gulf Cartel. In 2011, there was a huge gun battle in the area. It was between him and Chapo 1. He leaves and runs out because both Mexico and the U.S. brought about a huge indictment against him, and namely because he would be embarrassing to both governments. He actually left and went to Italy. On April 20th, 2018, he was extradited back to the U.S. That's an interesting day because that's when Q posted the Canary Date poem. So what you're talking about is somebody that had inside information about our government dealing drugs and people, right? Trafficking, weapons, drugs, and people. So I like I said, we all talk on the superficial level, but when you see these reports, it's notable that there's a bigger war going on.
I know we're well over 2 hours. I was going to start to try to wrap it up, but do you want to watch the clip I pulled from my post?
Sure.
I think it coincides exactly. It's a 6-minute clip. So, but this is a firsthand experience. His name's Noah. He worked, I'll just let him talk. Check this out. So this is from a 2-hour clip. I attached the full video, but this was just something from, 1/3 of the way in where I thought he did a good job of describing exactly what we're talking about. Check this out.
After this case was finished, the DEA sent me into Mexico. They sent me into West Texas. They sent me all over the United States. And in particular, I was involved in going into Mexico and breaking up large-scale heroin smuggling operations. There were too many of them to name. None of them were of any great significance, but the significant point is that I was working for the DEA, I was being paid, and I was an undercover agent. At one point, they advised me to become a pilot so that I could infiltrate certain drug gangs better. They paid for my training, they paid for my pilot's license, and then eventually, by about 1978, they sent me to the FAA Academy in Oklahoma City. Bill Collar, high-level agent for the DEA, trained me in DEA aircraft how to make soft field and short field landings, and trained me for ocean survival and jungle survival in case I was forced down or had to crash. My assignments were skipping around from Copenhagen, Denmark, Stockholm, Sweden, all over the United States, Bolivia, Panama, Nicaragua, Belize, Colombia, Peru, Paraguay. And I don't have enough time in this interview to go into great detail on what I did in each country. But again, the significant point is the DEA was using me in an undercover capacity. Specifically in 1979 in Bolivia, I began to understand the agenda of the CIA. They were there in Bolivia to make sure that the DEA only caught the small people. Sonia Atala, Walter Atala, Roberto Suarez organization, which was the largest cocaine smuggling organization in the world at that time, supplied the Cali and the Medellin cartel and the CIA with their cocaine. My job was to notify all of the large-scale Bolivian smugglers that were working for CIA on impending arrest and drug bust in Bolivia, so as that the higher echelons would not be arrested. In particular, the Roberto Suarez organization was a protected organization. I was advised about Mike Levine operating out of Buenos Aires as the station chief for DEA. The movements of his informers and his agents coming into Bolivia were monitored, and I passed that information on to the Bolivian drug smuggling organizations in order that they wouldn't get caught. The CIA eventually started shipping large-scale, well, in fact, tons of cocaine into Panama, into Tucumán Airport. They were flying LAB marked 727s and 707s, and they would pull into a warehouse district on the backside of Tucumán Airport, where they'd be protected by the Panamanian Defense Forces when they used forklifts to unload pallets of cocaine and placed into Sonia Atala's warehouse. Sonia Atala also had another company on the Atlantic side of Panama in the Colón Free Trade Zone. These companies more or less served to, they were really a front to ship radios and TVs, mostly Hitachi, that was the brand that they were using, back to Bolivia and to Paraguay. However, the real purpose of the company was to bring cocaine into Panama for distribution by the Mossad and by the CIA. This cocaine was flown into Nicaragua, into Belize. The planes were refueled there, and then it was flown into the United States. Now, it was probably flown into other locations, but the only two locations that I know about for refueling cocaine flights were in Nicaragua and in Belize. Now then, arms were also put in these warehouses. The Israeli Mossad seized a lot of arms in Lebanon. These arms were shipped into Panama, put into this warehouse and other warehouses, and then they were flown into the Contras in Nicaragua by pilots. Several of the pilots that I knew were Floyd Carlton, Cesar Rodriguez, Enrique Pretelt, Daniel Miranda, and there were several other pilots in Panama that may or may not have known they were ultimately doing the CIA's bidding for them by flying drugs and arms.
Kind of crazy.
Yep. The
So you
whole
gotta ask
thing is
yourself
corrupt.
the question, why would Nicaragua, Panama, Mexico, US, why would they be so heavily invested in the drug cartels? Because they were obviously protected by both Mossad and CIA, and probably their own country's investigative services and their governments. Governments were protecting them. You've got to ask yourself the question, what's the bigger picture here? And it's not just the takedown of the US, it's the submission of the world to, you know, through by any means necessary to a greater power. And I think that's what we've been looking at. We've been uncovering all of that from the beginning. It's not just about the U.S., although that is the coup de grace. You take down the U.S., the rest of the world never stands again, right? Because we are the, as Reagan put it, the last bastion of hope. And we almost lost it all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, go back to Afghanistan, right? When, you know, right after 9/11, we invade Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but prior to us invading, the Taliban were in control, and they had outlawed opium production.
Opium was all eradicated before we got back there. We get
Right.
in, and within a year, it's up at full production again. That's the
Exactly.
Pat Tillman story. That's the whole thing behind Pat Tillman.
And it was being protected by military wearing U.S. uniforms.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said Pat Tillman. They tried to say Pat Tillman was killed by enemy fire, but he wasn't. He was killed by
They claimed. Well, they claimed he was killed from friendly fire, but
only after people cried foul.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The original reports came out that he was killed by enemy fire. People cried foul and finally had to admit he was killed by friendly fire, and they tried to dismiss it.
Wow.
Please excuse
me
my
about those poppy fields.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of what I'm about to say, so please excuse my language. But these motherfuckers took tax money so that they could go protect drug fields, drug cartels, ship those drugs into our country, kill my friends. I was Narcaned 8 times specifically, myself personally, and just so that they could fund slush funds to do more dark operations around the planet.
Right.
Exactly.
There's nothing that should sit well with anyone when we talk about this subject. So I don't care.
When you consider the trade, the drug trade and the trafficking trade, right? The fact that they're using you as chattel to fund their operations should outrage everybody.
Yep. And that's the hard truth to swallow is the idea that our own government would do that, and, you know, using our own money to fund it.
Using our own money to fund it is infuriating enough. To then take the drugs and kill off a percentage of the population, all of which have mothers and siblings and family and friends, so that they can get more money to continue to do the type of shit they're doing is
But it also serves another purpose, right? The people being killed off would have been the military support had they not succumbed to the drugs. So, I mean, there's always multiple agendas. And so we were being, I guess, subjected to this treatment, not just to fund their dark operations, but to make sure we didn't become the counter to those dark operations. I mean, why this isn't more the outrage is beyond me.
Yeah.
I got 2 thumbs down right when I cursed. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to. I get upset. I get emotional about this one. I try not to, but it's very difficult not to get emotional about this from where I come from.
Okay. Anybody saying that they have, pristine ears and language. I think we've all succumbed at times because it is infuriating.
And you gave us a warning.
Why aren't we talking about this more? Why isn't this more the outrage? Why isn't this the topic that is front and center at every kitchen table?
Yeah.
I am sorry. Now some people tell me don't be. No, I do. I don't mean to offend anyone, but sometimes it's hard to protect your mind and control your emotions when you start to realize the type of things that our own government, funded by us, did to us.
Well, think about it. So you've got your story, right? And then I've got my story where I joined the Army right after 9/11, right? So on October 10th, I was swearing in up at MEPS, and then I joined as a reservist, but I still ended up deploying back in the beginning of 2004. Went to Iraq, spent the year in Baghdad, gave up a year of my life because of what I had believed at the time. So imagine taking part in that and then coming back, only for years later to pass, and then you find out all this new information about what happens. Like hearing that we invaded Iraq on a lie was a gut punch.
Yeah, that's got to be rough too.
So that's yeah, it's a and it's a bitter truth, but what these realities do is they slowly wake us up, and they break down our trust in our government, but that's a good thing in my eyes. We shouldn't be too trusting of the government.
But
and
that's,
we should
like I
be
said
researching.
before, that's what this country was founded on, was a healthy distrust.
Yes.
We lost that along the way. We started trusting everything they said. They would never do this to us. Well, they did.
We were put in a position where we felt like we could do nothing about it. You just had to comply.
That's also true.
You had to, it didn't matter. This is how it is, and you're going to deal with it. And this is how we're going to justify it. And if you don't align with our justification, then you're an outcast. And
Well, look at COVID, right? They did these lockdowns, and we were in a position where we felt like we were forced into compliance. Or at least the majority of the people were. Everybody's wearing masks, everybody's staying home. They literally convinced everybody that yes, you all have to do this because we say so. Well, the tables are going to be turned.
They already, I honestly 100% believe they already were turned. Their narrative is being used against them right now because people are waking up to the fallacy. And I think that's important to note. Had we not had this kind of back channel to the realities of what's going on, I don't know how many of us would have come to the conclusions we've come to.
Yeah, I don't know.
We all knew something was wrong. Most of us already knew something was wrong. We couldn't put our finger on it.
Nope.
Well, and the ones of us that realized that there was something wrong went to work or the supermarket or school or whatever it might be, and the mass majority went by exactly what I was just talking about before. They are just, there's nothing we can do about it. So this is the way it is. And we're just going to pick a side, and we're going to really, honestly, most people didn't give a crap.
No.
Honestly, everybody was just like, this is the way it is, and we keep it moving. Well, that's not the way our forefathers founded this country.
Right.
But it gives us a reason to rise up. I think public disobedience is a good thing. I think it's healthy. I think questioning is healthy. They're trying to enforce the opposite. That's when you know you're right, and you just got to get louder. And the more of us that get loud, the less impact they have.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to promote accountability to help more and more people be honest, right? That's really all this is. We're in a truth movement. We want people to tell the truth, and if they're going to continue to lie and cover up bad behavior, then we need to shine light on it.
I agree. This might be a good time to start wrapping it up. Feisty, I would like, before we get out of here, I want you to spotlight your Directive 51 stuff.
Oh my gosh, wasn't that exciting?
Yeah, it still is. I almost wish we would have spent a little time on it today, but that's why I want to have you at least do this.
Okay.
Your channel, I keep threatening to make a post, and I keep not having the time because I want to do it correctly. Could you drive traffic?
So when the election didn't fall our way in 2020, I kept saying something else is going on here. And I started going back and listening to sound bites and looking at things that were happening. I'm saying, no, there's more to the story. And in November of 2020, I came across National Security Presidential Directive 51. There's actually a wiki on it. I started doing a lot of research, started digging in, started figuring out that, this plan wasn't just a one and done, that it had been expanded on through both the Obama and the Trump administrations. And it became clear to me that that was in play. And I based that off of things that happened in 2020 and 2021. So I know that it seems kind of like out there, but it felt right. And I've been talking about it forever, got shut down for talking about it. And then all of a sudden on May 3rd, Boone Cutler posts the cover page or the link to the directive. And I screamed out, finally, and I was dancing because it was like, okay, so now's the time to start talking about it. So I spent last week putting together a Telegram channel that goes through not just the directive, but why I think it's in play. That is pinned to my X page. So it is the pinned post, but it goes through why I think this is real, it's in play, and it's worth considering when you consider the fact that so many things are happening, the truths that are being dropped, the fact that I am confident that the 2020 wasn't a forgotten election. There were too many things unresolved that I'm aware of and can't track. So I really do encourage people to go through and look at what I wrote. And I do encourage people to pop into my Telegram chat room and debate me on it. I mean, if you think it's garbage, fine, think it's garbage. Tell me why. I really do. I really am looking forward to people engaging about that channel because it is a culmination of 4 years of work, almost 4 years of work. And I'm sorry. I still think, well, I shouldn't say I get yelled at when I use the word I'm sorry, but I stand by what that research brought up.
Well, I think Sarge put your links in the chat, at least on Rumble, right, Sarge?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
And I also put the kofefi.coffee link in there. You can support Sarge and me specifically in there if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't have a coffee. I was told I should get a coffee and name it 9 Lives.
That's a good one. That's good. We should talk to A-Track. Why aren't you?
Yeah, I know. I need to do something with that. I haven't done that yet.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk about it. I've been getting so into conversations on the show that I have barely been even pumping the sponsors at all. So I'm just going to do it real quick here at the end. So if you guys do go to MyPillow, please use promo code Rambo. We all know how awesome Mike is. And if you use promo code Rambo, it supports this show in continuing to try to do so. Do the amazing things that we're doing today. And I did put the link for kofefi.coffee in the Rumble chat and on Twitter. I don't pull up YouTube yet, as we have 700 and some followers over there. If anybody wants to go follow the YouTube channel, I apologize. I can't monetize that until it gets to 1,000, at which time we'll probably start getting kicked off. I can't believe we haven't yet, but it'd be cool to try to get there. We're almost there. It's like 250 more before the YouTube channel actually does anything for the show. And so far they've let us go. So I'm okay with that. We'll see what happens once it crosses 1,000. But Feisty Sarge, thank you very much. I know this was very last minute. I didn't plan on doing shows this week. So for you guys and for JF Non-Smart Paul and for tomorrow and Brian Cates coming on, all you guys to just jump right on and do it last minute like this, it means the world to me. I mean, I think it means the world to everybody that watches Rambo and Friends. And you guys are all like the staples. So what was that, Feisty?
I said, we're always here for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing this. It's always interesting to see where the conversation leads.
I know, right? I mean, I had a couple things to talk about today, but it always just does that. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, we can call us the ad hoc show because that's what we always do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All
right.
Thank you again, Joe. I really appreciate being on here.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being here. I hope I got plans. I haven't really told you guys, but I got some plans. I got some people I'm talking to and some things that I want to do. And you guys that are regulars on this show and come to hang out and support what I'm trying to do so that I can support what you're trying to do. I'm trying to do things. You know what I mean? So we're going to see. We'll see what happens. I don't put everything out there, but I got plans, hoping to make an even bigger dent in fighting against the mainstream media. And I hope that you guys all hang in there with me. I'm talking to all you guys in the chat. I'm certainly talking to you too, SSG and Feisty Cat. So
Yeah, definitely let us know, how we can support.
my man, I'm going to ask everybody that's watching. First and foremost, I want to say sorry to the 2 people that got mad at me for cursing. And for all you guys that aren't mad that I cursed, if you could hit the thumbs up instead of the thumbs down so we can try to get this show out there to more people. That is my favorite thing in the way that you can support this show. That's why I always push it so much. I think the positive affirmation button is the best way you can support any show out here. Of course, the monetary stuff helps keeping the show going. I'm always grateful for that, but just getting it out there so more people can watch is the biggest deal to me. So, all right, Feisty and SSG, we will do it again very soon, I'm sure.
All right, brother.
Yes, sir. We're always here for you.
All right. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next time. I got to go do the American thing when you buy your kid a milkshake because you allowed the pharmaceutical companies to put a mandatory vaccine in their arm. Poison. I feel horrible. I bet his arms are sore.
Build him back up.
Yeah, I'm going to go buy him a milkshake, I think. All right. Love you guys. We're out of here.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Peace.